Okay, so Meet the Parents is a romantic comedy released in 2000, and it's a remake of a film by the same name released in 1992 and is directed by Jay Roach. An example of a trope or a characteristic of a romantic comedy in Meet the Parents is the female lead being a little bit stronger willed than typical in a typical movie. For example, there's a degree of gender role reversal as the male lead, Greg Fokker, plays a nurse, a role typically associated with a woman, and Greg's choice as a career as a male nurse is a subject of frequent mockery throughout the film by the family of his fiancée and the female lead, Pam. Pam also demonstrates that she is not afraid to stand up to Greg when she feels he is ruining the wedding and tells him not to return to Long Island until the wedding's over. Likewise, in It Happened One Night, Ellie demonstrates a strong character when she runs away from home in order to pursue her own personal goals of marrying Wesley despite her father's wishes. That's towards the beginning of the film. The second characteristic I wanted to talk about was aggravation. Much of the comedy in Meet the Fockers is centered around Greg's aggravation of Pam's family, particularly the father, who happens to be a retired CIA agent. For example, Greg breaks Pam's sister's nose shortly before the wedding. Greg mistakenly convinces the family that he's a marijuana user, and Greg lights the backyard on fire. Um, Again, this leads to Greg being asked to go back to Long Island away from the family wedding. And through this aggravation of the family and the father, the audience is exposed to Pam's protective father. And he does not see Greg as a good candidate for a husband for his daughter. Uh, Likewise, in It Happened One Night, we also see the protective father trope when Andrews disapproves of Ellie's marriage to Wesley because he feels that Wesley is only committed to the money that he'll receive from the relationship, which ends up being true. Um, and the last characteristic I want to talk about was familiar faces. The male lead is portrayed by Ben Stiller, a very well-known actor who starred in three films: Mystery Men, The Suburbans, and Black and White, in just in 1999 alone, which is the year before the release of Meet the Parents. He also starred in very popular comedy films in the 90s, such as Happy Gilmore. And Robert De Niro played Pam's father, a young, and he obviously also played a young Vito Corleone. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And The Godfather Part 2. And also the actors in It Happened One Night were also very well known, legendary Hollywood actors. For example, the male lead is in It Happened One Night is Clark Gable. He was later dubbed the King of Hollywood, and he portrayed Peter. And you can tell that Gable was a very prominent actor because he would go on to play a role in the highest grossing film of all time, adjusted for inflation, Gone with the Wind. Likewise, the female lead, Claudette Colbert, came to prominence in 1932 and was a big, was a huge actor in that period of time after she starred in The Sign of a Cross in 1932. Thank you.